Welcome back to Think Twice. Magic the Gathering. I'm your host, Drew.
I'm Alan.
We're going to wrap up 2025
Yeah, this is
in style or exasperation. One of the
maybe both.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So as we are ending this year, I thought we could just do kind of a look back at the year in all things, kind of just reminisce as we give it a swift kick in the seat of the pants out the door and welcome in a new
brand new year,
hotter,
full of hope.
A new hotter, younger model
Something
coming in. Sorry, 2025. You're old news. Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
What a good way to
Yeah.
catch me off guard, man. That's so funny.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, we're going to talk about some Magic stuff here. Before we get into Magic, let's just do a little bit of like recap of the year 2025 overall. I would, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say we would probably both consider this a rather successful year for us personally.
Yeah.
I mean,
I certainly hope so, for different reasons.
Yes, but I mean, you got a new job that it seems to be is finally giving you the ability to kind of do some of the things that you've wanted to be able to set up and put in motion in your life.
The big thing that it's done for me?
What?
People say that money can't buy happiness, but you know what it can do? It can relieve so many of your anxieties and stresses that so much joy I find floods into my life now.
Because you're not always worried about the other things. I think really that phrase needs to be changed. It's money alone can't buy happiness.
Oh, yeah.
If all you had was money,
you can't go to a store, right?
You wouldn't be happy. But, like, for most people who are not in the, elite levels of income, money is the biggest obstacle to being happy. Because it's just like, well, in order to acquire the status in life, the things that I want to be happy, I need money.
You know what it does for me?
What?
Is that because I, for so long, 20 years after I've left college, and I didn't have it, and I've had to go through like various stages of like financial stability, it makes you appreciate things so much more than you would normally. Like if you were like, oh, I've always had access to whatever this was.
Right. So
it's always just been there. That's normal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what it's like to not be able to be like, oh, my shirts are wearing out. I need to go buy new shirts. Well, what don't I get then that I would otherwise normally get,
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, you got a new job, is giving you financial stability and the ability to, buy cool Magic cards. And
I am starting to get a lot more Magic cards.
All those things. I got married this year.
She's great, by the way.
Yeah, she's gonna hear that because she watches this.
Well, I was trying to compliment her.
She is the first follower of the show, and
our favorite,
and nearly the most dedicated. In fact, might be the most dedicated.
The fact that she doesn't play Magic.
She has played one game of Magic in her life.
Will she play a second?
Probably not.
Right. And so she's listening to this because of you.
Just simply to support me. She'll be listening to it. She's getting ready for work or something like that, and she will come into the room that I'm in, and she goes, "It's like you guys are speaking a different language. Like you guys are making this up, right?" And because we're throwing out all these different terms and shorthand that is used, and it's fun, and I really appreciate the fact that she does that.
My dad, when I was 19 and starting to get into tabletop gaming, I was starting to collect.
Okay, yeah.
And so he was like, "What is all this stuff that you're getting?" And so I told him, and he was like, "Is this what you do? And like you go like on Saturdays or whatever for like hours?"
Yeah,
that's what I do. Can I come watch? He says. I was like, "Oh, sure." So he came and watched me play this game.
Was this Mech Warrior?
It was.
Yeah.
Way to remember that, buddy. Yeah. That was awesome. And I had been reading books on this IP or whatever for years since I was like a teenager, and so he was familiar with what I was doing, but like had no familiarity with what it actually was.
Yeah.
And he sat there and he said the same thing. Like he sat there for like 2-3 hours.
Well, basically, like he came and watched an FNM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were going home, and I was like, "So what did you think?" And he was like, "I understood none of it. It felt like you were speaking a different language the whole time."
Yeah.
And I don't know what I saw, but it seemed like you were having fun. So good, like great.
Yeah. Did he do anything else watching, or did he just kind of just like
he
just sit quietly and just watch?
He was just like this for like 3 hours.
Huh.
It was surprising to me. Like, first of all, like I don't know. I mean, I have a nephew now.
Yeah.
And like, if he was like, "Hey, come watch me do organic chemistry," I'm like, "Where do you need me?" You know, like,
right.
But like, that's the only person on earth I would do that for. You know,
like it makes you wonder, like, being in that situation, like, was the whole time was he trying to like, okay, so is it this? And then be like, no, okay, something showed me that this assumption I had made is incorrect. Okay, so is it this, or is he just absorbing and just being like, I don't get what's going on. I don't get what's going on there either.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just interesting to be in that. It's kind of an interesting thing is like, as people, that's a pretty novel experience to be somewhere and you're just like, I have no idea what's going on and I don't have the requisite skill needed to decipher what's going on.
Right.
Because like I said, if it sounds like the people are speaking in a different language, you can't be like, okay, well I can, you know, even if you had never seen a sport before, you could sit there and watch a game of that and start to figure it out because you'll be getting clues from maybe there's commentary going on or you hear, you know, the referee call a foul. And you're like, okay, I don't know why that was a foul, but I get that somebody was penalized for doing something. And, you know, like, okay, oh, possession switch. Oh, everybody cheered when that happened. Okay, that must be what you have to do to win.
Right.
All right, cool. And you can start to figure it out. But if it's like you're watching a sport that you have no idea what it's about and everything around you is spoken in a different language, you're like,
okay. It reminds me when you were talking, what I was thinking about was, do you remember the movie 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas?
Extremely vaguely.
It's Beowulf.
Yeah.
In everything but name. And there's he's Arabian. He's playing a guy from, they call him an Arab.
Yeah, okay.
So he's somewhere in the Middle East. Yeah. And he goes to, and they're Scandinavian. Mm-hmm. And they have to go kill this monster. And so one night they're out on the quest, right? Mm-hmm. And they're sitting around a fire. He can't speak their language. And he just figures out how to speak their language in a night by listening to them. No way, sir.
Yeah,
no way.
No.
Impossible.
But yeah. Anything else of note that you'd like to talk about before we get into the Magic?
No, that's the big thing.
It's just otherwise just things going on. Yeah,
it's a pretty big thing.
Yeah. All right, so I came up with just a few things just off the top of my head of stuff to talk about, and then anything else we can think about, we can riff on.
Okay.
But like I was just thinking, like, okay, like I was thinking, let's look back at the year of Magic, and like multiple sets come out. There's all these new cards that get released, and like, what were our favorite and maybe least favorite of these things, you know? So like I started with the sets. So like, let's see. The sets that were released this year were Aether Drift, Tarkir Dragonstorm, Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternities, Spider-Man, Avatar. That's 6. I got it. Did it.
My god.
So like so I looked at those sets, and for me, probably could have predicted this before the sets even came out for the year, but I had one set that was far and away my favorite set of the year. And it's the most recent one. It is the Avatar: The Last Airbender set. Interestingly, not just because I like the IP of Avatar enough that I have symbols from it tattooed on my body.
Sure.
It's not just like, hey, cool, it's Avatar stuff, but I have gotten a few Avatar cards simply for the purpose of I want to have some displayed on my wall. So like right now I have a 5-card display over there, and it's got Team Avatar. It's got Aang, Toph, Katara, Sokka, and Zuko. And like I have some others, and like, oh, maybe I'll just rotate them out or whatever. So but it's not just because of that. Like, I really think by far this set had the most cards that also interested me. And maybe some of it is simply because I like the characters and stuff on them, but like I think a lot of these cards would still be interesting even if it wasn't an Avatar themed thing.
If you called Wan Shi Tong like Bird Spirit.
Yeah, generic Bird Spirit number 7.
Right.
It'd be like, oh, but this effect
I'm playing
is cool.
number 7.
Yeah, this effect is cool. And like that sort of thing. So, but far and away, my favorite set of the year.
Okay.
What's yours? Favorite
I'm going to go with the Return to Tarkir set.
Okay.
I liked some of the just like the weird kind of effects in that set. Like there is a do you remember like way back in the day we had a Temur card for a 4/4 something Rage Monster,
Savage Knuckleblade, Big Nux.
Yeah, Big Nux.
Yeah.
And like this set there was like a similar card printed, but it like reduced the cost of something like generic.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe something with Battle Master in the name. I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
It doesn't see play in Modern.
Right.
But like I liked the fact that like we went back to Tarkir, which is kind of the set that I started playing Magic in. And I kind of like 3 colors. And that's one thing I want to talk to you about is like why some 3 color combinations just see 0 play ever in any way, shape, or form. But like I liked some of the like the design space that they explored in Return to Tarkir. What was it called?
Tarkir Dragonstorm.
Dragonstorm, yeah. Tarkir Dragon. I'll just call it Tarkir.
I was really excited for the set, and it just so happened that the way it worked out is that some of the cards, except for one that I thought were like that I saw were like, oh, this is a really cool card, are not in any way what my collection is set up to build around. So like the new Narset that like I think it's 3-drop that at your end step for however many spells you cast that turn, you draw that many cards. Really cool card. But you have to have a bunch of really cheap things, and obviously because she's 3 mana, it incentivizes you to like play zeros, and the best zeros in Modern are really expensive.
Yeah, the Mox.
Because they're Moxin. So it's like, okay, that, and also if you knew me 9 years ago in Magic, this would be so weird, but I don't own any white cards. Like besides like just like, oh, maybe something in the extra box or like cards I have on display.
What's that 3-drop that you love so much? The Monk.
Oh, Monastery Mentor, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I probably still have a couple of those laying around. But like, so like, okay, I don't have any white lands or anything, so in order to try to get into that deck, you have to buy a whole mana base.
Yeah, when it's this thing plus lands, it's really expensive.
The other card that was along the same lines was Eshki Dragonclaw.
I think that's the one I meant.
The Temur 4 mana that like it's I think it's like at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast a creature and a non-creature this turn, like she gets like 2+1/+1 counters and you draw a card or something like that. Really good. Once again, wants you to play the Moxin. Because you go turn 4, she's the creature, you play a 0 mana non-creature, and like, yes, you can do it with Bauble, but you need more than one card to go off with, and then it's like, okay. But so like that set worked out for me that most of the cards that I was like, oh, this is really cool, or ones I'm just like, I'm just not set up to play. So it unfortunately fell a little flat for me, even though I do also really like this setting. Although I get so little of the story these days, and like Tarkir, the set that we started seriously playing Magic in, at least I think technically M15 was the newest set when we started, but Tarkir was the set that like we kind of got into Magic. Like I was reading all the story articles and everything they posted, so I was like, oh, and you spent so much more time in a plane back then.
Oh yeah,
because we were in Tarkir for 3 sets, and each set was actually 3 months apart because you only had 4 releases a year.
Oh my god, the days!
And so we were in Tarkir for most of a year,
right?
And so when you got one story a week, like that's a lot of stories added up, and you're like, man, I'm really following all of this stuff that's happening. And so now I was like, oh, we're going back to Tarkir. That setting's really cool, and I didn't do anything other than look at some of the cards with it because it's like, well, I don't experience the story and any of that sort of stuff, so it's like, oh, all right. So like set that I was really excited for and do still think positively of, but feels like a blip on the radar to me.
Sure.
Do you have a least favorite set of the year?
I don't really want to do that.
Okay.
It's Spider-Man, but I don't really want to talk about why.
Yeah. I went through since I use Moxfield, I track my whole collection on Moxfield.
Oh, nice.
It makes it really nice and easy when you're building decks as well, because they have an option. You can go search only my collection.
Mm-hmm.
So it grabs immediately the version I have. And if I type in, Heat, and I'm looking for Unholy Heat, it gives me Unholy Heat and Raucous Theater is the only options, not 8,000 things of...
because Heat's
in Raucous Theater, yeah. It doesn't give me every single Magic card ever created that might have the word Heat in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably quite a few, and so it also makes it easier to search through that. So, but also nice for me just to be able to have an easy track of just being able to see what do I have and what do I not. And I looked through each of the sets from the year when I was trying to figure out okay, and trying to remember what was in each set and all that sort of thing. And I looked at what cards I own from every set, and I own no Spider-Man cards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that tells the story. Like I don't necessarily have to talk about why. For whatever reason, the set just didn't land with me.
It didn't land with me either.
And
I think it's because, so I was on Instagram, which I love. And I was watching a reel about somebody playing Magic, and I think it was Commander. But this was effectively the idea. It was I'm going to tap green and a red for Admiral Adama.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to tap a blue for Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tap the rest of my mana for Optimus Prime. Magic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And I don't mind a little sprinkled in.
Right. Well, and some of the things fit, the Lord of the Rings cards just fit.
Yeah.
Right? Most of the Final Fantasy cards seem to fit.
Yeah.
To be honest, most of these Avatar cards, like Wan Shi Tong, if you knew nothing about Avatar and you said, here's Wan Shi Tong Librarian, be like, that looks like it could totally be a Magic card.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man, in terms of one, just so much more cultural reach for superheroes. But also the fact that it's he's from Queens. Queens is a place on Earth. Nothing else is set on Earth.
And I didn't if there was a Spider-Man in every color.
Yeah. And I think some of the reasons this set, for many people, wasn't so great is because we know that it was originally supposed to be a smaller release. I think it was originally supposed to be like the Assassin's Creed set.
Sure.
A small set. But then when they made the change that all Universes Beyond sets are going to be standard releases, they had to pump it up to a bigger size. So, of course, what's the easy way to make more cards in a Spider-Man set is... And to be fair, it's not like it's 4,000 versions of just the exact same Peter Parker as Spider-Man.
Understood.
There's all the different Spider-Man, but yeah, it's it's Spider-Man. Which one? Oh, it's the blue one. Which one?
Right.
You haven't narrowed anything down for me, but besides all those things, just none of the cards interested me. Whether or not they're Spider-Man.
I don't even care if they're good cards. Here's the thing that absolutely just was the nail in the coffin, for my opinion, on the set. They have different names online.
Yeah, the split versions is...
Why do they have that?
Money.
How can you make more money that?
They don't. It's because Marvel has a digital card game, so they don't want digital cards of their IP for a different game. They want
so if you had Peter Parker Spider-Man in a card, that's one thing, but the exact same card has to be called Photographer in New York.
But very likely what it is a third company makes that digital game for Marvel, and they have the rights to the digital license.
I just want to pull
for those things
so badly.
Is what it is. And so they probably are saying, sure, you can have the rights to make cards of these things, but those people own the rights to make our digital cards.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't make a deal with those people in terms of how much money they want for them to open up the license to you, then you can't. And by that point, they had already made the deal with Marvel. They'd announced the set. They'd probably designed the set. And then they're like, oh. And so, instead of Peter Parker's camera, you've got whatever it's called. And it's this split where it's oh, okay, yeah. It has to be wildly frustrating for the people that are okay, somebody who wants to go to RCQs and qualify for RCs and try to make it onto the Pro Tour to have to learn the card twice.
Right.
For me, the only time it comes up is when I'm watching somebody play.
Sure.
And then it's just like, I don't know, half the time you're using a card that I'm not familiar with anyway, so I just learn
this colors and it does this.
Yeah, right? So, like, I don't know, but yeah, it has to be wildly frustrating for those people who are like, I grind on MTGO to practice and get in reps, and then I go to paper events to qualify, and, oh, wait, like, you can't even get to the use of looking at the card, because it's a whole different card. It's different art, everything. You're like, I don't even know.
I just want to throw up in my mouth about the whole thing.
So, well, we've shifted to talk about many cards. I actually thought you were going to say Edge of Eternities for your favorite.
Well, I chose Tarkir largely because of the setting that made me feel nostalgic.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
Like, Edge of Eternities was great. I thought Edge of Eternities was really
just because I know you've had a lot of time playing a few Edge of Eternities cards, so I was like, oh, maybe it's Edge of Eternities.
Which one?
But, well, like all of your warp cards in your
that was the warp set?
Blue white.
Yeah. That was really good. I like the warp.
So
kicker.
I couldn't figure out exactly one favorite card of the year. But looking at a bunch of cards came out, I easily could say these were my top 5.
Okay.
The first one I'm going to talk about isn't actually a card that was printed this year, but I call it a card of this year, Green Sun Zenith.
Sure. Yeah,
because like a year and a week ago is when those cards were unbanned. And so it was like they didn't exist for us until then.
Yeah.
Like we don't play Legacy or anything, so I haven't been able to play a card. So it's a card that was newly accessible to me. So like so Green Sun Zenith is one card I really liked. The other 4 that I was able to put on a list were Badger Mole Cub, Corey Steelcutter. There's that's the one card from Tarkir Dragonstorm that I was like, I really like that card. I'm like, and I can play it.
Mm-hmm.
Wan Shitong Librarian and The Legend of Roku.
Oh really?
Yeah. Not a card I thought of when I first saw, like, okay, oh man, it's really cool. Roku's always been my favorite avatar.
Okay.
So like I like his character, like the physical design of his character. I think he looks cool, all that sort of stuff. They've been writing avatar books, and so they've been going back and writing books about some of the avatars before Aang. So like they wrote about Kyoshi, who's the earthbending avatar before Aang, and they wrote about Yang Chen, who is the previous airbending avatar before Aang. Now the newest ones that are coming out, they're always in 2 pairs, or in a pair, so 2 books per avatar. And the second of the Roku books is supposed to be releasing soon, so I'm excited to read those. So I like Roku. I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, and the borderless version I think looks really awesome. Not just because it's borderless, but just they did a good job with the art. Yeah, the borderless effect is really, really great.
Borders are trash.
Yeah. We're anti-borders here.
I'm not a border guy.
Yeah, if you were around in the 90s and the early 2000s, you're like, what do you have against a small bookstore? But anyway, fun joke. It didn't land for most people because most people probably don't remember Borders.
I didn't even get it until you explained it to me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it's a bookstore. It used to be in the mall.
Yeah, it used to be in the mall. It's Borders bookstore. They had a really good rewards program.
I was always a John Rollins guy, man.
Oh, yeah, John Rollins, yeah. I forget where I was going with that.
Yeah, you liked the Roku
guy.
The
Legend of Roku. But so then Spike played it in a deck, and and I was watching it, and I was like, well, and it was interesting because like people kept on bringing it up to him on when he was playing other decks, and he's like, I just don't think the card's good enough, the grindy 4-mana engine that eventually wins you the game isn't really what Modern's about. And then like as he was starting to play and he was starting to realize, he's like, wait, like Modern slowed down a lot in the last few months.
I'm starting to see this.
And I think it's because of editions like Quantum Riddler and some of these things, and it's like, oh, like there are these great late game engines, so now you can more effectively build your deck to have answers early, have an engine late game, and then also the engine happens to often be abusable, like you can just flicker the Riddler, and now you might just have a turn 3, 4, 6 flyer that drew you a couple of cards, and you're like, sweet. But it also just is a fine turn 5 play after you've solituded your opponent into oblivion.
Is this the way out of Battlecruiser Magic? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks. So, continuing on with the list.
Obviously you can go too far with it.
Right.
But so then he was like, okay, I'll give this Legend of Roku card a try. Because people are like, dude, you should try Legend of Roku. It looks really cool. You can make dragons. It's a thing. And then he played it. And I was watching. I'm like, the card looks really cool. It's exactly that sort of thing. Like, okay, interact, kind of keep the game manageable. Put this thing down. Essentially, draw 3 cards. Gives you a little bit of mana next turn, and then you make a 4/4. And then when that 4/4 attacks, you make another 4/4. That then, and you can just start spitting out these 4/4 dragons. Like, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Or you can use the fire bending for other stuff. And so like, it's just like really intrigued me. It's the way I like to play Magic. 'Cause I like to play interactively, and then, try to build some sort of advantage you get to at the end. While it can be really cool, I don't love games of Magic that end in 3 turns. Like, I just want to play more Magic. I like Magic. I like playing Magic. So rather than not playing Magic, which is what happens when you win a game so fast, and then, you're 15 minutes into your match and you're done, and you're like, well, I guess I'll go walk around the store that I've been going to for 20-something years.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, they still have the same kinds of things. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'd rather spend 45 minutes playing. But so just the card really intrigued me. And really, it's just kind of the whole list is they all do something interesting and cool that I think for many of these really are kind of novel effects as well. We don't have anything that incentivizes you to like want your opponent to search their library like Wan Shi Tong. Badger Mole Cub is a mana engine that is very different from the normal ways we try to make more mana. And like that sort of Corey Sealcutter is a really interesting threat that is kind of just like, oh, this is how you make a modern playable Monastery Mentor. You get rewarded for playing spells, and you make prowess creatures, and then you make more of them, and then all of a sudden your board is massive, and you can swing for tons of damage. Hey, look at that. So those were my favorite cards of the year. Do you have 1, 3, 7?
So I really like Badger Mole Cub. I wish it wasn't $50 so I could play it.
Did it fall back down again?
Is it more than that now?
There was at one point, so like it released, and like it was high pre-order price, and then it dropped. I bought mine with store credit from Card Kingdom. Shout out Card Kingdom. Okay. So that other price you see down there is what they all hit at one point.
No way.
So I bought mine at 38 with the rest of my store credit that cleaned me out. The day after release, because I watched a video of somebody playing Yawgmoth, and I watched 3 turns of the game, and I was like, okay, this card is legit. I knew I was gonna like Wan Shi Tong. I pre-ordered those, and that took out a lot of the store credit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna want some other Avatar stuff. It's gonna be cool. And then I saw Badger Mole Cub and said, that's it. Okay. Thanks, Card Kingdom. It'll be a while now before I can buy from you again, because I spent most of a year.
Yeah, that war chest got empty quick.
Every time I would send in a trade-in order, I would spend some of it and then just bank. Because I'm like, okay, I know this Avatar set's coming, and then it was just like, all right. So Badger Mole Cub. And so I watched somebody play. It was turn 1, land, Mana Dork or something. I don't remember what it was. Turn 2, second land, Badger Mole Cub, Earthbend onto the land, tap the land for 2 mana, play Malevolent Rumble. And I was just like, oh! I was like, okay, I get it. I see it. And then I paused the video, went to Card Kingdom, said, do you have them? Yes. How much are they? That times 4. I have that much store credit. Please.
Got them.
And then, by the next Friday, I was at F&M, and people were talking about them, and, somebody was saying, oh, yeah, I pulled one into pre-release or whatever. I just picked up a second one, somewhere. He's like, but I'm gonna have to wait for the other 2 because they just hit 90.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, I got mine for 38. He was like, good timing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't do it with TCG Player. Otherwise it might have had one of those hey, we actually didn't have that card. We haven't listed again for 3 times the price, but somehow we didn't have those ones.
Yeah, my problem with TCG players, I have at least 2 times bought a card at a certain price and it spiked, and then I didn't get my card.
Yeah, because they're like, inventory error, sorry. But so Badger Milk Club, great card. Did you have any others?
So I have another one that I want to play that's been released, and I have one that I want to play that's been previewed in 2025.
Okay, so 2025 card and that it's been previewed but will release in 2026. Yeah. Hit me with the one that is out already.
Phoenix Fleet Airship.
Card does look pretty cool.
So here's my thing. You ramp into it and it immediately starts making copies of itself. Mm-hmm. And the only thing you have to do is sacrifice something each turn to make it do that.
Fetch land, spawn token.
Yeah.
There's so many ways.
There's a lot of ways to do it, right? Like any kind of token, even a food clue. I mean, if you have to invest some mana in it, it's fine for a 4/4 artifact, right?
Yeah, and it quickly builds to more than just one. Because if you do it the next turn, then you have 2 more. You have a total of 4.
And then basically, I think if you do it 3 consecutive turns, they all turn themselves on.
Because you need 8 or something like that, and then they all just become creatures.
Yeah, and then 4 times 8 is.
4, well, you'll go 1.
8 times 4 is 32.
1 to 2 in the first turn, 2 to 4 in the so the third turn you will turn them all into.
So you want to play a fetch land mana base? I like fetch land mana base. So that stupid fucking bird spirit that you just played. And then so I like that, and then I just like the idea of most of the time when you sacrifice something, you're getting some kind of value out of it anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
and so you're turning that to your advantage.
Because Spike's been using Phyrexian Tower, right?
Yeah.
So you sack the creature, you get 2 mana.
Yeah.
And then now you've done the thing you need to trigger that. Now you also have more mana to do something.
Yeah.
So
I like that. One thing that I thought about when I saw it, and I thought of you, is that it's 2 black for an artifact.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, it's going to be all over this.
Yeah.
And then
Spike has played it in Yawgmoth. Yes. He has a version of Yawgmoth with it. I'm like, that's interesting. But once again, I've purchased the cards that I built up a war chest, as you called it, to purchase, and there's no more war chest.
Yeah.
So
and then I'll look up the last one. It just got previewed not so long ago. We were talking about it a little bit in our Discord the other day. I think her name's Marwyn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know if it's
great TV.
Yeah, when we're looking up.
We're both just in here.
This was my whole Christmas experience, by the way. It's just
So, is it this one?
Yeah.
So that's not a new card. That's an old card.
Well, maybe it's getting reprinted.
I think so. Yeah. So the no confirmation on that. So because Rosewater posts before most sets, he says, "Okay, here's things you can see." And so one of our friends posted that list that he posted, and somebody said, "Oh, that line of text must be referring to this card from one of those original Lorwyn sets."
Yeah.
So maybe a new version of her might be coming.
Oh, well, so you tell me I can play this card now?
Yeah, that card has existed for years.
What?
Yeah.
So then I don't have one.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about this card,
I do want to talk about this card
because it's now new to you.
Yeah. So 1 black for a 2/3 legendary elf wizard. Players can't draw cards. That's interesting to me.
Okay.
At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life. That's interesting to me.
Okay.
Searches his or her library for a card, puts it into his or her hand, then shuffles his or her library.
Oh no! If you play alongside Wan Shi Tong, you don't get to draw from Wan Shi Tong.
Right. But he would get the counter.
Yeah, back when they designed effects to be symmetrical.
Right.
And not just only beneficial.
Right. So my first thought was, how do you turn the symmetric effect into your advantage?
There's got to be things like, I know the MH3 one we got, is it Necro Dominance? Necro Dominance is the one we got, right? Because Necropotence is the old one.
I have pronounced that card as Necropotence for as long as I can have read it.
So I think the new one that we can actually play in Modern, you do draw cards, but the other one you you paid a life, exiled the card, and then you got them all into your hand at end step. So there's got to be some sort of effect that does something like that. It lets you accrue cards without technically drawing them. The same way that Expressive Iteration isn't drawing cards.
Yeah.
It's just Stock Up.
Mm-hmm.
Stock Up is look at 5, put 2 into your hand. So you could still stock up and be like, all right, card advantage. It's really drawing cards. It's just doesn't say the word draw, so I'm fine. Yeah. So like there's got to be ways you can do with that. But all right. Were there any cards you didn't like? Whether
ton
design, play, any of them you want to talk about?
Mox Opal is one that I have continued to just absolutely despise or loathe, whichever one has a stronger meaning.
Loathe entirely.
Yeah, I just hate that card so much. Well, to be fair, I think what Mox Opal does the best of is to represent the concept that I really don't like.
Okay.
Which is that you are getting something for free.
Yeah.
It enables itself towards the freedom.
Yeah.
And like the thing that I think Magic is losing is this idea that like in order to gain X, you have to give up Y.
Yeah, there has to be a trade-off.
And it doesn't seem to be like whether it's Magic the Gathering or just living your life. People never, ever. They always. Well, I guess the way I should say it is they feel so terrible about giving up Y, even if they gain X.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just a trade-off. It's just a trade-off.
Opportunity cost.
Right, it's an opportunity cost. And like my problem with Magic, like the reason why I feel like it's become quote unquote like dumbed down, and the reason why I respect Titan so much, is that like you should have to think and know the game.
Yeah, like how many cards, and of course, as soon as I say there's so many that do this, I'm going to fail to think of one.
Naturally.
But how many cards like set you up to get a payoff if you do the thing, and they also let you do the thing.
Right.
So like for instance, a card that I've played a ton of and I really like, Agatha Soul Cauldron. Says any activated abilities of creatures
it's really good.
that are under this thing, your creatures with +1/+1/+1 counters have them. But it also puts the +1/+1 counter on the creature. Like maybe it shouldn't, and then you have to play stuff that has +1/+1 counters.
Would it even be played if it didn't?
Right, and like that's some of the line of things, but there's so many cards like, oh, it just is the enabler. It is the thing.
Yeah, Opal's like, an artifact that needs artifacts in order to turn. It turns itself on.
Amped Raptor is a great example.
Oh yeah, banned.
Well, yeah, right. But it's like it's an energy payoff that creates energy.
Can you imagine Amped Raptor into like Badger Mole come?
Oh god, it'd be so much.
A red-green deck might be played.
Amped Raptor into anything.
I know, it's crazy.
Like that's the thing. That,
Soul
like,
Cauldron.
It's one of the takes of Spikes that I'm 100% behind, because people will come into his chat and be like, man, like should Amped Raptor really still ban? He's like, people, do you not remember that card? He's like, Amped Raptor was usually the best card in your deck plus a 2/1 first striker for 2 mana. Like, oh, if the One Ring is the best card in your deck, you got it for 2 mana, and you got a free 2/1 first striker alongside it.
I don't even really think that the card has like this space that it could be abused was explored. Yeah, it got thrown into Boros Energy because it could you could cast whatever the deck was playing right off the bat. Oh, I'm gonna put this in. I've got a Guide of Souls out.
Yeah, so
trigger. I've got 3 mana. Energy, I can cast every spell in the deck. Right. But like, can you imagine if it was hitting 4, 5, 6 drops?
Yeah, I mean, like it very quickly got to the point that like it was just being like Boros Energy was playing the One Ring and Amped Raptor, and you just hit the One Ring off of it.
This is so crazy. But if I have a least card, a least favorite card, the One Ring might be.
Yeah, but
in the history of Magic.
Yeah, just a 2025. But imagine Amped Raptor if it didn't create energy. If it just said, when you cast this, do the exile thing, then you can spend that much energy to cast that card. Well, now you're incentivized. You're like, well, now I have to put in things to make energy. Maybe I have to play worse cards than what I'm playing, where instead you're like, oh, the cost is I have to play Galvanic Discharge and Guide of Souls in my deck. Oh, darn it.
Yeah.
Shucks.
I'm so mad.
Right? It's like, okay, yeah, like those are good cards.
Amped Raptor better really make up for these cards.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that I think maybe like it from this side of the table that it seems like you're talking about is just like, well, we have to have a payoff and an enabler all in the same card.
Right.
So you don't have to piece things together. It's just you cast the card, you get it. It's one of the things that, like, as I was thinking about my answer for like, wow, what's my least liked card? I don't love the decks that play Quantum Riddler.
Sure.
Like, just the pattern of just like, I'm just going to blink it and I get past the downside of the card. But I absolutely respect the fact of that card that it has no way to enable itself. It has no way to be like, and if you do this, it just cheats itself into play. Now it's just a 2-mana 4/6 that drew cards. Yay! You know, is the warp mechanic stupid in my mind because you get both halves? Yes. You should either have to make a choice of, well, if I want the card draw early, I don't get to have access to this exact 4/6 later. It just goes to my graveyard or exile or whatever. Instead, then I have to draw the second one to get it as a 4/6.
You know what I don't like about it?
Yeah.
Is that it lives throughout the turn that you warp it so that you can flicker
really
it.
Weird, yeah.
So
Like,
you can do that stupid dog.
Yeah, so Felia can do it, and like you can use Arena of Glory to give it haste and attack that same turn. So you cast it for the 2 mana.
Oh yeah, it's evoke.
So
it's effectively evoke.
So you warp it, but so it gave it haste.
Yeah.
It gets to attack because it stays until the end step, drew a card, and then it leaves. So like you're like, oh, I can just have a hasty 2 mana 4/6.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yeah, sure, technically it's 3 mana because the other one, but then you just cast a 1 mana red creature with it, with the other red mana. Yeah, like also, okay, I've got 3 mana. All right, Arena of Glory plus this blue land. I'll use 1 red and the blue. Here's my Quantum Riddler. Drew a card. Sweet. Play my Ragavan. They both attack. Like, that's a 4/6 that should be able to attack. Like, you know, maybe it should come down to not be a creature if you warped it, and it's just like an enchantment that has the ability and then it leaves or whatever. You know,
Alan, if you can't attack for 6 on turn 3, like, I mean, what are we even
doing? Yeah, I know, right? But I was thinking, like, it's not that I dislike that card that much. The thing I dislike about it is like how much it has warped what interaction you have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Fatal Push was a really good card, and then Quantum Riddler got printed, and it was just like,
right.
And it's like, oh well, Lightning Bolt, that card sucks now because
it's not even being registered.
Yeah,
like it used to be like you're playing red, you're playing Bolt.
Yeah, and now it's like
for decades,
Bolt's like a liability
now.
God. So you know, so there's some of those aspects and whatnot in there, but like overall, I don't really dislike that card, but the card I do dislike, which is really just because when I limited myself to cards that came out in 2025, I can't say the card I actually want to say.
Which one?
Kappa Cannoneer. But the card that made Kappa Cannoneer like supercharged is Pinnacle Emissary.
Sure.
And it's in that same vein of like, well, it's a very low cost, and then
would either of those cards be things without Opal? Would that deck exist without Opal?
So, yes, but as like I just really love doing artifact shenanigans, and you see it show up every once in a while kind of deck.
You would have to. It has to be an Emery deck because then you're going to have to play Amber.
Yeah, so you're forced to play Amber, so you only have the 1 Mox. So then you have Emery, which Emery's just a good card in those artifact decks anyway. But Pinnacle Emissary is just like, oh. The whole game plan of this style of what we call Affinity, even though nothing, I guess
Metalcraft.
Yeah, we call it Metalcraft now because that's the ability it's actually played. Is I want to spew my hand of cheap bad cards to enable 1 or 2 good cards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and now like Pinnacle Emissary is like, it's not even like fitting the bad card mentality because it's a 3 mana card you get to cast for 1, and well, now I just have all these cheap zeros, and it makes 1/1 attackers.
Right.
That fly.
Or tap for mana.
You know, yeah, and like, wait. You're now telling me that I can just like for 1 mana and a few cards I was already playing to enable this other thing, I just got this upgrade where now I might just have a few 1/1 flyers sitting around? That's great.
Yeah, it's great.
If you could play a 1 mana 3/3 flyer on turn 1, you would.
Sure.
Delver Secrets, you know?
Right.
Because like Dragon's Rage Channeler, wait, these are these cards, but you have to jump through hoops for those ones to turn them into a 3-power thing. Pinnacle Emissary just easily makes them, and then it's sitting around for 2 turns later, or sometimes even the next turn because you have extra mana. It's like, I just played it again. and now every other card in my deck, including itself because it's an artifact, triggers it.
Right.
And you make more little dudes, and then you use those dudes to abuse stuff. But really, the card I really don't like is Kappa Cannoneer.
Sure.
Just because it's like, oh, it's super cheap to play, it's uninteractable, it can't be blocked, and it's just like, haha. Like,
it's a True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, it's just like, well, like,
but you have to pay 3 mana for True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, right. Like you at least True Name Nemesis is a 3 mana card. But so I don't love that deck, but maybe that's also just a personal vendetta against that style that I don't like. Favorite deck you've played this year? I know sometimes
it's so hard
to remember, like, what did I even play?
What did I mean, it's so, I mean, like, I do. Okay, so here, I'll tell you the deck that I like to play. The concept of it.
Okay.
Is I like Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride.
Okay.
That speaks to me on a lot of levels. I like to announce triggers.
Okay.
There's a lot of triggers.
I like taking game action.
Sure.
So, like, I remember when Amonkhet was...
Oh, you were all
when they spoiled Amonkhet back in Standard, I was like, oh, cycling? Just because I'm like, even if it's just, I got rid of this card and replaced it with a different card, it just feels like you're doing stuff.
Oh, you're so crazy.
So, yeah.
No, but I liked the... I remember I was playing at an F&M the first time I actually went, after I picked up Ocelot Prides. And I don't remember who I was playing against or what they were playing, but I remember that I was real behind real fast.
Yeah.
And I went something like turn 3. I had a guide out, and then I went turn 3. Like, I played an Ocelot Pride, gained a life, and made some cats. And like the number of cats I was making was like kept me in it from the next turn.
Yeah.
And then no interaction because no one likes to play interaction anymore.
Yeah.
And so the turn 2 was, okay, I didn't die, but now like I gained enough life equal to the damage I was taking.
Yeah.
And then the next turn it was, now I am ahead on that.
Yeah.
Now, and so, and I am going wide.
Mm-hmm.
And not only am I going wide, but now I'm gaining evasion and going taller. And
then you eventually hit the City's Blessing and you supercharge it.
And now
it's just like,
now we got both skis down, right? Yeah, now we're going downhill. And I just thought, like, I'm not even... Oh, I know who I was playing against. It was that woman that plays...
The wife of the other guy. Okay. Yeah.
And lovely woman.
Mm-hmm.
Really like her. And she was playing one of those, what's the thing with, like, all your lands or
domain.
All types? Yeah, she was playing some kind of domain deck. And I'm getting, like, burned for 5, or that green-red creature comes down and hits you for 20, or however many that thing does, and does something else. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm getting absolutely crushed. Thank God these 1/1 cats
just jump in the way,
keeping me in it.
Yeah.
And eventually I came back, and I was so wide and so tall and so evasive. And I was like, I don't think that I've even... I mean, I was casting like a creature to get a Guide of Souls trigger main phase.
Yeah.
And just took over the game. And I'm like, this is 8 cards it takes to do this, and you have to play creatures. Wah, what a drawback.
Yeah, you have most of the time you play creatures so you can win the game because eventually they'll attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I really enjoy that. Oh, I'll tell you the other deck. I don't know if it was this year. But like Spike made I think it was like green-red or Jund Delirium deck.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like a 3-drop green creature that can double the...
vine?
Yes.
Like the plant creature? Yeah.
And like, I thought... And that, first of all, like any strategy like that, you were just so hard all in on one thing that like you really can't avoid to be in it.
You're like, okay, I'm going to target this. Can I do the thing? And you're like, kill it? No!
Yeah. Well, that's it, game.
You're like, okay, you beat me.
But that deck was... First of all, I think Delirium might be my favorite mechanic in all of Magic.
Yep.
So anytime I get to do anything with Delirium, I feel like it's a special treat.
Yeah.
And playing that deck when it worked felt a lot like how I felt when I was playing Red White Humans in Standard however long ago.
Yeah.
And it was just that kind of like, okay, I built up, like, am I going to get over the finish line? I did! So it was, I mean, I think that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. For me, my favorite deck that I've played this year is Yawgmoth. I find one. I think it's been a while now, like as in multiple years, when I've been searching for something to scratch the this is a completely different play style itch. You know, I know that I'm generally leaning in the more controlling vein. I just want to interact, play cheap, good, efficient cards, and I'm fine playing a 12 turn game if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Totally fine. Doesn't matter to me. But I know that I get that urge after a while to be like, I want to do something different. And I like taking game actions, so combo is appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried multiple different decks to like find the one that fit.
Yeah, this is the combo deck I want to play.
And I remember a year ago, before the unbans of Green Sun, Opal, Looting, and the other one that didn't matter, right. Twin. I was building elves.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you get to put a lot of stuff into play, you do a lot of cool actions, and like you actually have to like think your way through how to combo. It's not just like this plus this plus this equals game.
Yeah.
Like Splinter Twin as a combo is not nearly as engaging to me because it's just like, yay, I did it.
But all the setup, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, like I think Elves is the kind of deck I want to play. Like I like the fact that it was a Chord of Calling deck, so you could search for stuff and find the piece you wanted to, and you like kind of had to figure it out as you went. And then as I was starting to put together some of the pieces for that, they unbanned Green Sun Zenith.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I was starting to look, and I was like, well, if I have these, and I have those, and I have those, and just like you're looking at a Yawgmoth deck list, and you're like, this is just elves, but good.
Right.
Like, oh. Well, if I can just then get some Yawgmoths and a few other pieces as we go, like the Young Wolves, not expensive.
No.
Many of the cards...
Annoying card, BT
Yes, yeah. Really is. I played against a lot of Yawgmoth when I was playing MTGO with a lot of times with Ragavan. And you know what Ragavan doesn't beat? A Young Wolf.
No.
You're like, hey, nice, really expensive Ragavan. Here's my 5-cent Young Wolf.
Yeah.
It'll take you out twice. But so then I built Yawgmoth, and I'm like, immediately it's like, oh, this is the thing that scratches the itch. Like, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
The deck is highly customizable. It
has 12 different ways it can win.
Yeah, I mean you can put it in so you've got umpteen number of combos, or you can just be like, well, I want to have these flex slots be these cards so I can do this thing, or I want to be able to do this thing instead. And just like the flexibility you have, and it does the thing that I've always liked about Magic is it makes you feel like your choices mattered whether you won or lost.
Sure.
And it's like you can very easily tell, like, oh, if I had done this instead of this, I could have won the game. But I need to be able to think about that. And I think I think it helps me still progress as a Magic player, because most decks that I play, you're thinking about the next turn. Yawgmoth, you're often thinking like, well, in 3 turns, what does my board need to look like so that I can then use this thing to win?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, or even within a turn, like, well, if I get to draw at least 3 cards with what I have on board here, if I draw into this, what can I draw into that lets me then keep going? What are the odds of drawing into one of those cards that I just thought of in the next 3 draws? And then you're just like, okay, draw. Ooh, there's one of the things. Now just put in this. Okay, what can I do with it now? And then also you're like, wait, now this lets me activate this thing, and this, which makes this work, which makes this work. And then all of a sudden you're like, and you're dead. And you're like, but you had to think about so much, like, okay, what could I do with these actions, or do I take this different set of actions? And like, I find that very rewarding and engaging to do. There are times, like getting ready to go to FNM, that I know I cannot play that deck because I'm just like, I am too tired to do that. I will have to think way too hard. Funnily enough, I've played against a a player at our FNM 3 times. 2 times I was playing Yawgmoth. He plays Yawgmoth. Those are the only 2 times either of us have ever played the Yawgmoth mirror, and we both sit there throughout both the matches. We're like, I have no idea what to do. Like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right. Is this even the right approach to try to take to win this match? Because like when you don't play in a mirror, especially with such a unique deck like that, it's like I don't know what the way to win is. If I sit down, we're both playing a grindy, interactive, just good efficient cards. If we both sit down and we're playing Jund, I don't have to have played that matchup a ton of times to know what I'm trying to do, to win. But in that one's like, and we've had some crazy stacks of just like, okay, well, I'm going to activate my Cauldron. Well, in response, I'm going to activate my Cauldron. Well, I'm going to do this. And like, you end up having like 17 abilities on, laid out. And you're like, okay, the first one's going to resolve. That thing fizzles, so you don't draw a card. You already lost a life for that. And then I'm going to do this, and this deals the damage here, and this thing dies, and now it comes back, and it's like, holy crap. So, really fun deck. Really enjoyed it. Any other 2025 Magic lookbacks that you can think of you want to talk about before we move ourselves on?
No, not really. I mean, I think that like Magic for me has become so much about like just playing at like my FNM and like that level, and like I do not care about like RCQCs, and I do not care about a Pro Tour. I do not care about like an online meta or anything like that. I only care about things that can affect my what I say and do.
The thing I like about like the RCQ system and when it's Modern season is it means there's more content about Modern out.
Sure.
So like, because when everybody's playing Modern, everybody's talking about Modern. I'm like, yeah, give me more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It like gives me more videos to watch or whatever. But yeah, like I don't want to go spend 11 hours in a single Magic tournament in a day.
Sure.
And like people talk about like, oh, we had this 30-something person RCQ, and I'm like, so that means you had 6, maybe more rounds of Swiss and then cut to top 8. Like, you're probably playing 10 matches of Magic if you win the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
it's exhausting.
Like, I don't want to do, like, I get 2 days off a week. I don't want to do that with one of those 2 days. I have so many other things I want to do. Like, if you think about like what I did just today, it's like, oh, in that same 11 hours, well, I woke up, I had breakfast, I went to Lowe's, I went to the gym, I stopped at Fanfare, I had lunch, I built up a table around my miter saw in my workshop, I cleaned out my car, I installed this back seat thing to extend the seat for our dogs because we're taking them with us to New Jersey. So like they have more space, and so there's not that empty space where the foot area is for people, and like that's all in the same amount of time I just would have been playing the one Magic tournament. And it's like, yeah, no, like 4 rounds is pretty darn good. Like that's a good amount.
Yeah.
So definitely reflect on that. I think the only other Magic thing that I've really realized this year is I love the borderless cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is just like, oh, I can get a borderless card instead. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Unless it's a really pricey card and the borderless one is a little bit more expensive. But for the most part, it is one of the nice things about all the different art treatments they do with cards now, is they're all basically the same price.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, well, do you like the, shiny glittery one, the regular one, the borderless one, the extended art one, the alt art one, the showcase frame one, the whatever? And it's like, well, it's not like one is the in-demand card. So it's like, oh yeah, they're all within 50 cents of each other, so pick the one you like. But definitely like the borderless. You brought up something earlier about 3 colors.
Sure, yeah.
Did you want to tackle that today or no?
Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
I don't think it's going to take very long. So, like, I think Modern, especially, has become so much about 2-color decks.
Yep.
That's really to the core, of what Magic is and Modern now.
I think probably has been for a long time is 2 colors.
I think that the Surveil lands have really pushed us hard into the, like...
Yeah.
you're not a true 3-color deck. You're a 2-color deck that maybe splashes.
Yeah.
But even then, I think that like you're either trying to be a 2-color deck or you're trying to be a 5-color deck. There's so rarely been a decks with 4 colors.
Yeah, because if once you can support 4, just support the 5th, and you just get access to the other one. Like, and the cost of doing that has got to be so much smaller than once you've reached 4. 5 isn't that much harder.
Right. You know, and then there were decks that were like, this is really this 2-color pairing plus whatever, and then like Jund, I thought was like, okay, this is really more like a true 3-color deck.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best examples of a fairly even distribution of the colors. You know, just like it's not a 2. Oh, plus I'm splashing this 1 card.
Right.
It was like, no, there's multiple green, there's multiple black, there's multiple red. You need it all.
So, but like, even at the height of like the ability to play 3-color decks, I think that like there were 3-color combinations that were played so much more. Grixis, Jund, Jeskai,
Esper
was in there, but then there were like, name the last Naya deck. Yeah, name the last Abzan deck.
Seedrino.
Right, I mean, it's been a while, right?
Yeah. I think really the last one was Devoted Druid combo was usually Abzan, but like that deck didn't really have the same sort of color identity as we think of when we think of something like Jund, because it's just like, well, it's just if you put these creatures in play, they just win the game.
Right.
And it just happens they're in these colors.
So is it that like Abzan, like these are like, I guess, white-green pairings, right? Abzan and Naya just don't have, I mean, like, I guess Sultai's in there as well.
Yeah, Sultai is a color combination that always feels like it should do better, but then, like, what is so different from Sultai to Jund?
Right.
Like, you still have the same black-green base, you support it with blue stuff instead of red stuff.
Counter magic as opposed to killing magic.
Right?
I mean...
So it's like the end system, this like, why are certain color combinations more likely to show up?
With all of the, like... So you're telling me, I mean, so like, not that you're telling me, but like, so is Magic telling me that like, I can't play Flage and add green for an effect? Like, do I need to kill artifacts and like a meta? Like, that's certainly been a thing. We live in an affinity age, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I not able to play a green-white land in my Flage deck?
Yeah.
You know, am I not able to like, do I have to play permission as opposed to like, hand disruption and kill spells like as a bug compared to like a Jeskai type of build? Like, I mean, what is it about, like, because it's very clearly the 3rd color.
Yeah.
Right? So is it like,
every 2-color combination seems to have some traction.
Right.
Simic
Simic
and Selesnya like show up around the fringes, but they're not nearly as prevalent as some of the other ones.
Bring back Uro. So it could be right there.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, you bring back Uro and all of a sudden you'll have your Sultai deck again. So like, my guess has to be with like the 3rd color once, because generally I don't think an idea most of the time doesn't start with 3 colors unless it is like, oh, I want to play Seedrino, I have to be in these 3. But even so, we often see, as you've mentioned, that even 3-color decks often lean harder into 2.
Right.
So my guess is it's got to be something around the fact that, like, okay, like, why Jeskai instead of a different color to pair with blue-red? So, for instance, why are Jeskai and Grixis played, but Temur never really
Correct.
is?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the answer has to be in, like, the 3rd color needs to add an avenue that is cohesive with what you're already doing, but offers something you can't access. So, let's just use the Jeskai Grixis Temur. Is it, as a color pairing, the base of all 3 of those? Maybe not the base, but the only 2-color combination exists in all 3. So what I'll say is the base I'm thinking of is usually has access to some of the best cheap spells in blue and red, and is often trying to be somewhat fast.
Mm-hmm.
Also has the ability to slow down a little bit or universally interact with counter magic, right? So what adding white or black gets you there is like blue and red, not good at interacting with the graveyard, for instance, or like they can have trouble dealing with a threat that's already on the battlefield. Red removals generally size dependent. Bolt can only get you so far. Blue can counter it, but once it's down there, blue's not killing it. You'd have to bounce it and then counter it. Now you gotta have 2 cards to deal with just the one, and so, hey, card disadvantage. So, like, black and white give you access to some of those types of things. They're much better at dealing with permanents already on the battlefield. Black has good access to graveyard hate, that sort of stuff. Where when you add green to that, well, green's also bad at taking away, hey, your creature's killing me. Green's not good at getting rid of that. So you didn't add that with there. And green is also generally trying to be like, hey, get my big scary monster into play. Rather than, which is opposite of what Izzet is trying to do, as to just utilize cheap, efficient spells to churn through your deck. Green's like, just put an investment to make the big dummy come down.
So you have a 2-color pairing trying to do X things.
Yeah.
And then your when the 3-color pairings that we're not seeing, the supportive 3rd color
doesn't
like, support the core
and doesn't offer something they can't already access.
Okay.
I think is what you really have. So, like, for instance, green, it's like, oh, well, green can destroy artifacts. Red does that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, green can also get rid of enchantments. White gets rid of non-land permanents. Well, green can deal with graveyard sometimes. You can get access to that with black. But black and white offer you those other things that green doesn't. And so I think that's really the core. And if you looked at, like, okay, what pairs are played versus what aren't, maybe that's why. So, like, for instance, if we look at Jund, think about the green cards that were in Jund.
Sure.
The first one that comes to mind is Tarmogoyf, right?
Classic. Because
that deck needed something that could hit hard to win and be a kind of a roadblock to say, like, you can't attack through this thing. So we're looking at that. So that's if black-red is your base. But, like, and so white doesn't necessarily have as big of creatures as green does.
Green has the biggest.
Black and red, not good with dealing with some things like enchantments. Well, white could add those, but green adds the creature and deals with enchantments. Right? Black and red, not very good at gaining life, as a slower deck like Jund was. It benefited from gaining life. Oh, look, something like Scavenging Ooze is now giving me access to some of these other things. If we look at the black-green base and adding red added things like Bolt, later on Renin 6, like efficient interaction, and some of those other effects that red has. It added some of the speed element to the deck. So if you're black-green, like, you get access to Fatal Push, but in a Jund style deck, you want more than one kill spell early. Okay, well, I get access to Bolt. So then we look at why Sultai didn't ever take off. What does Sultai add there? Well, okay, you could have something like a Stern Scolding, like a counter spell for it. But then you have to be holding it up all the time. And now you can't deploy your Thoughtseize turn 1. Now your Tarmogoyf isn't as good because you might not have played a spell on the first turn. Well, counter magic isn't very good with Liliana of the Veil, because Liliana of the Veil is going to make it so you don't have cards in your hand. Counter magic, you have to sit and hold it so that you can counter their thing. Okay, well, that doesn't jive. And so I think that's what you're really seeing, is if you look at what is the base pairing, you have to look at what the 3rd color adds, and it has to both what is cohesive with the plan that we're already going with, and what does it add. Because if it doesn't add anything, there's no reason to go into that color.
So, while you were describing that, my thought was, okay, so if so we've been using Izzet as the core point of view, right? So, like, is it should I That was unintentional. I hate puns.
Yeah.
Should I, if I'm wanting to expand into a 3-color pairing, should I, if I'm trying to make that work, should I reimagine what the base 2 pair needs to be in order to say, like, okay, so like Naya decks have traditionally been about white, red, we'll throw some green in there for whatever effect. Yeah. You know, or should I look at it like, okay, now the deck really needs to be green, red, and what can white bring to the table?
So I think that is such a contextually based question, because going back to the beginning, you say, well, I want to make it a 3-color deck. I think you need to stop there and say, why? Is it simply because you want to play a 3-color deck? And then I would really question that whole point, because being a 3-color deck, and the reason why Modern is shifting away from multicolors like that to just 2-color decks as the base, is as we get more and more cards, you start to have more and more ability to handle a wider range of problems within 2 colors that you don't need to branch into the 3rd color all the time.
Is it okay? So I guess the next question is like, then is it about what you're being able to handle, or is it about what you're able to like proactively do?
Depending on what the deck is trying to do, I think that question, one of those two things, is going to be most forefront. So, like, for instance, if we look at the Jeskai deck that like plays like Flage, and sometimes like something like Doorkeeper Thrall or Consigns, in order to try to like have Flage is just the normal way of playing Flage. That I cast the first time, I killed something, I gained some life, put it in my graveyard, eventually it'll come back. Or you can have the like scam it in by you can sign your own trigger, or do one of those ways to do that. In white and red, you don't have the option to do that with Flage. So when you were looking at, oh, well, I want to be able to sometimes present a faster clock, which is what that would do, than what Flage can do on its own, then I have to go where that tool exists. For Flage specifically, you can't do something like Ephemerate like you can with a Solitude or a Quantum Riddler. So instead, you say, okay, I have to be in blue
for
Consign, Dress Down, whatever. There's many of those effects, but almost all of them are blue. So that's why you branched into a 3rd color there. It's not simply because you wanted to be a 3rd color. In this case, it wasn't about the answers necessarily, but it was you wanted to be more proactive, and you wanted Flage as your base, but you didn't want to be in a heavily proactive deck like Boros Energy. You still wanted to have some of those controlling elements. I still want to be able to play some Tamios and Lightning Bolts and just like that sort of thing. But then Flage is a really good control finisher because it gains life. And so it's doing this while also it's your kill spell, gains you life, and is the thing you're going to kill your opponent with later. It's 3 things in one for the deck. It's fantastic as a control finisher. But so then, okay, well, I'm trying to play a control deck, and Flage is my finisher. Oh man, well, some matchups, let's say like the big mana matchups, it'd be really helpful to be able to have my finisher come down faster. Okay, well, I can do this Consign trick. Well, I'm also trying to play a control style deck, so blue actually does help me out with this as well.
Yeah.
So, all right, this is all starting to work. And so like you have to look at that, and in that case, blue added something that the white-red pair you had to be in for your finisher didn't offer. So that's why you go into the 3rd color. It in my opinion, needs to be a thing of necessity, not a thing of desire.
Okay.
As I used to play almost all 3-color decks. And now as I go through, I have more monocolor decks in the decks I currently have built on my Mox field than 3-color decks.
Last question.
Yeah.
Has colorless, not generic, has colorless reached a point where it is in fact the 6th color?
I think it's really close. I don't think there's enough variety, because if you're playing colorless, we can start to list the cards you were playing. First one is Kozilek's Command.
Sure.
Thought-Knot Seer.
That's a good one.
Glaring Fleshraker.
Sure.
What's the next one that requires colorless mana that would be played?
I don't know.
Exactly. And so that's where it's not broad enough to be the same as a color yet, in my mind.
So is the benefit of colorless...
Kozilek's Command, yes. That is the benefit of colorless.
Is the benefit of colorless the fact that it has 2 to 3 near epically powerful cards?
Yes.
And so, and because of the absolute small pool that you're drawing from, they fit into whatever 2-color or 1 other color pairing you want to do.
Yeah. So while I don't think of colorless as the 6-color in terms of like, well, this is another option to build a deck. If you are building a deck, say for instance, I have a mono blue Eldrazi deck. When you build that mana base, you have to think of colorless as a color. Because you have to be able to meet that requirement. But in terms of like, when you're looking at what options you have in the world of building decks in Magic, I wouldn't look at it as a equal option to the other 5. The other 5 have so much more breadth and depth of options than colorless does. But if you're like, I want to take advantage of 2 things that colorless offers you: lands that tap for 2 mana and Kozilek Command. Right? If you want those, yes, you can now put it into a deck, but it has to be treated as a color. Because like that mono blue deck would very naturally be like, oh, it would really benefit from another color for some Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, whatever. But you can't pull off the mana base that way because you cannot fetch for colorless duels. So it is extremely a trade-off, but because Kozilek's Command exists, it's often worth exploring. And so, maybe it's a little bit disingenuous for me to call that deck mono blue Eldrazi because it has Kozilek's Command and Thought-Knot Seer in it. And so you do need colorless mana, but the only color you're playing is blue.
Right.
So, like...
Even if you wanted to count colorless, like, it's in the name, right?
Yeah, so. Right? So... But if they got to a point where they were adding more stuff that required colorless that wasn't just specifically Eldrazi, then I think we'd get to that point. It's almost like... That'd be like saying Eldrazi is its own color.
Yeah, well, I mean...
At this point. And because they spill into other colors, specifically with mostly devoid stuff, I don't think it's fair to call it that because, you can have an Eldrazi deck and, well, it could be blue, it could be black, it could be red, it could be green, it could be red-green, it could be blue-green, it could be, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, okay, like there's all these other options. But the only real draw for playing actual colorless cards, that require the symbol colorless is in the Eldrazi realm. So it's just, oh, you're playing Eldrazi, got it. Okay, I can assume that there is colorless stuff involved in it.
The other thing about that is that like Eldrazi or like colorless wants to play artifacts because they don't have any color in them.
Yes, you can cast them.
But artifacts don't want to play Eldrazi and those kind of spells. So I mean,
it's one of the good tensions they've made with colorless stuff is like there's a big mana colorless option and a small mana colorless option, even though they're both colorless. Like I said, they just naturally don't want to play into each other, which is kind of impressive that they've been able to do that. But honestly, even if the Eldrazi stuff didn't have colorless mana as like an actual requirement, if they'd never changed the difference between colorless and generic, then I think that it would still exist. If Thought-Knot Seer was just 4 generic mana, those artifact decks still wouldn't want to play it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, yeah.
Because the effect is something.
Yeah, the effect just isn't whether or not it has a color that needs to be cast instead. So, yeah. All right, guy.
We did it.
We did it. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Or watching. I guess some of you probably look at our faces this whole time. Oh
God, that's the worst.
It's got to be boring.
Just listen to our voices.
It's just us sitting across from a table talking to each other.
Horrendous.
And you just get an angle that makes it look kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. I have to now get up and turn off the video. So
podcast over.
Yeah.